Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Now, what's going on? I'm so sorry. I'm just jumping right into it. It's 2:20 on the clock right now. So 22 could be significant. 4 could be significant. It's Wednesday, October 1st. Happy October. And also, by the way, happy birthday, Libra. I've been on here a couple of times since Libra season. And I do apologize for not wishing you the best birthday season ever. At the top of it all, I have a deep affinity for Libra energy, as I've said many times, because it's all throughout my chart. So yes, happy birthday to you. But I got to get into this message. I did a pre-shuffle, as I said. I'm going to begin to do off camera. And it was quite disturbing. So I got to say, right off the top, trigger warning. Trigger warning for this message, at least for how it started in the pre-shuffle. And I didn't cut the cards one final time from the last bottom one that I saw, so that's why I'm cutting it now, and we'll see what the energy is together. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay. 2:22 on the clock now. 2:22. Okay, so trigger warning still stands. However, given this card here, it also is an issue of peace, and how can I say it? Like, don't worry. If you even absorb this as your message, of course, take what resonates and leave the rest. But this has given me definitely a confirmation that whatever it is that I was picking up is already backfiring or has backfired, perhaps returned to its sender, and whatever, and or the energy that's meant to come toward a particular target for harm is actually being transmuted in a very forwarding way, like a powerful way. So the trigger warning is for the fact that what I picked up on very clearly is that somebody has murder on their mind in a really sinister, dark, and even secretive way, because what they are portraying or saying out loud or expressing as their state of emotion or state of mind is the stark opposite of what they're actually feeling and pondering on the inside. It's like somebody's given the showing the face of having it all together, being quite content, settled, maybe even happy, happy on the outside, but internally they're in a fit of rage. And every day it's like a coin toss, and like a Jekyll and Hyde duality that someone's experiencing internally as to what they're going to do about how they feel, if they're going to do anything. Literally, somebody's like flipping a coin or weighing the pros and cons every day of how they can either act on their fit of rage, or retaliate, or launch some type of attack or assault against someone or something. It really is more so that the two side or two face of it all is not so much that somebody is trying to talk themselves off the ledge. It really is heavy on how they can get away with, how to get away with murder. Well, my God, how they can get away with it, who they can enlist to help them, who they can pay, hire, finesse, convince, seduce. However, how can they arm themselves in a way that would intensify their attack, make a deep impact, and still somehow keep their hands clean. And while I was kind of pre-shuffling and, looking at the cards that were coming up, I kind of wish I had just started the camera, because it was so much coming up about what somebody's going through. First, I was seeing all of this energy about what somebody's going through in their personal life, where it's just a mess. They're not being able to find any balance with the chaos that they have created, ultimately, that they have created or contributed to. And I think maybe now that I'm getting into it, that's contributing to someone's deteriorating state of mind, where they're having a hard time being rational and reasonable, because the chaos that they've created is taking a toll on them. And someone, best case scenario, would like to be able to completely disconnect from what they've created and start something new, but they know it's virtually impossible. So it's causing like a, I don't know, like a psychotic break, in a sense, is what I was seeing, because they're cracking under the pressure of keeping up appearances or maintaining this I got it all together, or everything's fine, everything's good face, not just for the purposes of public presentation, but also, again, for the purposes of projecting innocence, so that could be kind of the cape or the cloak or the cover up for what they're really trying to do behind the scenes, or how they really feel deep down below the surface. They really want to cause harm, and it may not be physical and so absolute as what I said, but I'll tell you that when I was shuffling and I was going through this story of what all that somebody's going through, and how they're just kind of like, teetering on the edge of, I don't even know, like I don't know, like on the edge of like completely coming undone, like disarray. I don't even know what the word for that might be. I was going through all the things that was coming up in the cards about what the trials and tribulations somebody is facing. But the biggest thing is that they're not taking accountability for what they're facing, or what they created or contributed to. They're not willing to do that. They're also not willing to force or forge a settlement in what they've created. It seems virtually impossible to create peace where there's chaos at this time, because the people or the elements that are involved are not peaceful, and they don't promote peace. They don't operate on peace. They prefer chaos. So someone's trying to forge a peaceful resolve in a place that thrives in chaos. So they know that there's a dead end there. And in every way that they're trying to detach themselves and move forward to something else, anything else at this point that is even remotely secure and stable enough to, again, to sustain this this facade, of, if not good fortune, at least decent fortune, like okay fortune, like I'm doing all right type of energy. They can't do that because the past keeps a tight grip on them. And what I likened it to, I saw it in the cards, but what was coming up for me, which is a very primitive example, is like someone having a really nasty breakup with someone, but now they have a child, or the child that I saw could even be a business or some type of common interest or cord attachment. But let's say, in the most primitive and practical sense, a child. So the relationship is done, but you still share this responsibility. But instead of having like just someone would want to be able to forge a peaceful co-parenting situation, but who they're trying to forge that with is completely irrational and unreasonable. It's not somebody that's going to honorably hold up their end of the bargain. They're either not taking their responsibility, or they are quite demanding of whomever this energy is to take more responsibility than what would be fair, like, i.e., child support. This person can't get ahead for every dollar they make being scrutinized, or the potential for it to be scrutinized, and them being taken back to court for more money, or more money less time, or more money more time. Like, whatever it is, it's always something. Like, it's always some type of dispute. So there's no resolve in sight as far as that's concerned. So it's literally stifling somebody's creativity, their security, and the spiritual sense, and then the physical sense, by way of materials, their ability to create productively, or create new opportunities for themselves to advance, progress. It's like literally somebody's in a chokehold. And from that, I was like, well, damn, how do you really deal with that? Like, how do you deal other than to throw your hands up? I'm like, what, do you murder someone? And then I shuffle, and the freaking Ace of Swords popped up, confirming exactly what I said. And that's when I heard the song in my head, which is by YNW Melly. I don't listen to his music, but I've heard that song. So I know the song, but yeah, and I was like, what? And then the story continued to unfold as to where someone is, and someone that, is in such a desperate state at this time, in a diabolically desperate state, to forge some relief somewhere, or to find a win somewhere, pardon me, or to find some provision, or whatever it is that they feel they are deficient of this time. Somebody is so desperate that they are internally, and at least mentally, in a state of, they're in a state of a psychotic state, where they would, is the only thing that is still any semblance of sanity for this person at all, barely, is that they still care enough about getting caught, and or how they look, or will look, if they got caught, or if the thing blew up in their face, or they got caught red-handed, or if they don't get away with it. But the dangerous part of it all is that somebody is repressing these feelings of rage, and they're just literally just a snap of a finger from going on a rampage, and that's very thin cord of rationale is wearing thin by the day. Now, as I said, and even in the pre-shuffle, what is unknown to whomever, or maybe is, but like I said, it's starting to even become less of an issue for them, is that there are eyes on them. Somebody is watching, or there's visibility enough, there's enough of a lens on this person, that it is virtually impossible for them to do what they have in mind and get away with it, or to even entangle, or what do you call it, when you get somebody else involved in your crimes, incriminate anyone else in their schemes, either by way of how they've already been exposed for the type of person that they are, or some bridges burned that people just aren't even willing to go along with their scheme or their plan, and or they just don't believe in it, you know what I mean? Or they just not up for it for whatever reason. But it's only intensifying somebody's rage because of the roadblocks that they are facing, and even just trying to get a plan off the ground, or getting someone to invest enough in it to kind of be the fall guy or the hitman, or like the, what do you call it, like the what's the word I just heard, like the fall guy is like the setup guy or whatever, but the bait or something like that, like something where somebody would be willing to put their neck on the line, at a price, for a fee, for a promise, whatever it is the exchange rate may be. They might be so inclined to actually take the risk and the gamble. They're having a hard time finding that. They realize that they're too visible, or they're um there's too much, they're too exposed. That was the word, because the sun card came up a lot. They're too exposed to carry out the mission themselves without almost certainly being caught, or being really stopped in their tracks, is what I saw. But like I said, the danger is the fit of rage that someone is suppressing and feeding every day. Every single day. They're, instead of healing and going in the direction of repentance, and accountability and remission from whatever mental illness they got to be suffering from, or spiritual or psychological illness, is getting darker. It's getting darker. It's getting darker. Now, as I said, the trigger warning stands, and hopefully you're not triggered, because what I definitely saw is that their plans are, first of all, not very well thought out, or they're definitely not going to be well carried out without a hitch. And for this energy, it's like the moment this is the type of energy, especially in this season, where the minute they try to set out to do something sinister, they are going to pretty much be met with hella obstacles. Like, you trying to go do something sinister and your car break down, or you get a flat tire, or you ran out of gas, or God forbid you get in an accident, or you get an emergency call and you got to turn around. Like, there's some type of force field between someone really that's protecting them more than anything from themselves. But there's a force field. I did see the Temperance card, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's protecting all parties involved, the people that could be potentially incriminated and recruited for such foolishness, the person that wants to be the mastermind, if not the executor himself or herself. I saw a lot of masculine energy, so it's fair to say that it feels quite masculine, but it doesn't have to be exclusive to that, because I also saw deranged feminine energy. So and multiple kings as well. So it could be a matter of a group, a couple, or whatever, an organization even. But what was I saying? So this force field is protecting all parties involved, and of course the target, especially in innocence, from incurring damage and impact that is not even due to them, that they don't even deserve, or that's unwarranted. So everybody's being protected for their own good, but the gotcha is that the person that is insistent upon continuing to advance, or figure out a way to proceed with their plans, is ultimately putting themselves in harm's way, and setting themselves up for potential danger. The Death card was up in the mix, and so was the Four of Swords. So it's like there needs to be a surrender to this sinister plan before it ultimately becomes someone becomes a casualty to it themselves, is what it comes down to. All right, so let's see what else we got here. As if we need any more, right? Like, somebody needs to pipe down for real. Just pipe down. It's not that serious, no matter what it seems. Look, this is the card that kept coming up, the Knight of Swords. So they're on a rampage, on a highway to hell. It's even given like somebody like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. You know, like I can't count on nobody. I'll do it myself. You know, in their fit of rage, just impulsively charge against someone or charge into a situation. And like I said, like, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. Mess around and hit a brick wall head straight on. Head on collision. Okay. Okay. The cards is talking. This is generally the fate of anyone that has bad intentions in this season. It's not, like, I know I tell stories as if it's one specific person, but I've conveyed in other messages how I read and how I see things and channel, and it feels like it's a story about one person, but I try to broaden it. It's just easier for me to just speak on it how I see it and try to bring in all the other elements as I go along. But it really is just generally the fate of folks that insist on carrying out diabolical deeds, you know, or even living in the spirit of anger or revenge or vengefulness, you know what I mean? Being vengeful or not just aggressive, because aggression is okay in some regards, but it's rage, you know. It's just rage. And it's like, what you angry about? Who you mad at? Yourself? Because ain't nobody do nothing to you but you. All the decisions that have been made to get people to a place of misfortune or discomfort, despair, like whatever it is, it's only a matter of your own personal choices in most cases. So how this, like, that's what I'm saying, like somebody is not thinking rationally enough to just take accountability and move forward. It's not the end of the world. If it was, you wouldn't be here. Like, you'd already be gone. It's like somebody's about to fast forward a bad ending just on account of being angry and also being what's the right word, like being rebellious to the truth, though. It's like they see the truth. With the Page of Swords here, it's like you see the truth and you're like, nah, like they don't accept that. They don't receive that. They can't take no for an answer. They can't let bygones be bygones. They can't cut their losses. Like, it's like, no, something has to give. There has to be a way. There has to be a way to win. It's quite immature. I mean, we've got the Page and the Knight. Is very, very immature And well, I mean, just downright juvenile, like a spoiled child having a tantrum. Like, mine, it's mine. I deserve that. I worked for that. What's that? Yeah, like a spoiled child. Oh my God, the Six of Cups. They can't let go of the past, and they have unresolved childhood issues that they're refusing to look at. They don't even want to see what this is a direct correlation to or derivative of. It's like, no, no. Fuck that. I deserve it. This is either somebody that was either told no too much as a kid or wasn't told no enough. You know, or not told, or not, there wasn't, I don't know, like, there's some deficiency in their childhood that has rounded up to, I mean, narcissism would be kind. In this case, it's downright, like I said, psychotic or some type of psychosis. There's some like a mental or nervous breakdown that somebody's on the verge of, that they're really driving themselves into, you know, but they refuse to shift gears, literally shift gears, literally driving themselves. What's this? Another page. Slow down. Consider, you know, weigh the cost. Or it could be someone, I don't know, let me see what's on the other side of this night. Oh, no, you're not. No. No. Knight of Pentacles. If this is still in if this is the same state of being, like I said, this could be someone that's trying to project a certain type of persona or facade. King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, the one knight that you would be able to rely on or trust more than all the others. I don't know, given all the energy that I felt, and I said in the beginning, someone's putting on a good face. Like they get up and they keep, you know, they put themselves together, or they're able to, you know, show a more palatable side of themselves to the public or to whomever it matters, for them to look okay. But internally, I feel like this Knight of Pentacles is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords and the energy of a Page of Swords, which is just, and like I said, in some type of regressive state of mind. They may even be experiencing some type of triggering or psychotic break or psychosis on account of, like I said, these childhood traumas that have been unresolved, and they are transmitting their childhood experiences, or how can I say this? It's like they're projecting their traumas onto someone else, almost to make someone else pay for it. You know, it's like making someone else the cause, or the like guilty or something. Like, what is that? That's weird. Like making someone else guilty for something that they had that they experienced when they were a kid, or even before, like certainly before there was any, certainly in such a way that the object of their aggression has nothing to do with, like has no involvement with, has no hand in. It's like somebody having mommy issues and taking it out on women. It's like, I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, go, you need to go handle that with your mama, you know, or even daddy issues, whatever, and taking it out on every man that you come across. You know, it's just like transferring their I want to say like judgment or something. What is a word that I'm looking for? I don't know. It's not coming to me, but it's like hurling a judgment, their condemnation from one isolated or completely separate situation onto someone else. But like I said, this is not someone that's in their right mind, but they've somehow rationalized it enough to give them fuel for their fire, for their fit. It's like and that's also a scary part, because this is someone that has somehow figured out a way to make sense of why they should feel how they feel, and why someone should pay for what they're feeling, or for what has happened to them. That's crazy. When it's so not true. It's literally like a toddler, like a kid, like when they're in that learning stage of, you know, right and wrong, and relating and sharing, and, you know, just the basic manners and etiquettes of life. And they don't really quite grasp it holistically, why things should be an alternative way. They only see it for what it is that they want it to be. You know, like, I don't know. I wish I could say that better. Let's see. Let's move on. It's frightening. It's like giving a toddler, in this case, a samurai sword, but maybe in a more modern sense, a handgun. They're ultimately going to either shoot someone that they shouldn't, or themselves, and most times it be themselves, unfortunately, in this country. This is dark. Like, this might be one of the darkest that I've had in a while. Where we at? A few more cards. Yeah, and they're hella defensive about their point of view at that. Like, they stand firm on that. Like, they wouldn't even be convinced into logic at this point, unless by the grace of God it's imparted into them as wisdom. But I don't even see how it can get through all this defensiveness and obstinance. It's like somebody has stabilized themselves on their point of view, and they don't want to hear nothing else. And if you're not for me, you against me. So if you're not going to help me get this done or execute this plan, then you're worthless. But again, the real scary part is that this is all happening for someone internally. So, I mean, there could be some cracks in and some chinks in their armor that they're not aware of. But for the most part, this is somebody flying under the radar. Is giving, that type of, serial. I mean, I didn't say murder and guns, so I guess I might as well just say like serial killer energy, where you would have never guessed that this person would be on that type of time, because they were a good neighbor, they were a decent coworker, a good son, a good dad, a good friend. You know what I mean? Like, it's something brewing in someone's spirit, and it would be a danger to others, and could be, except for the fact, thank God, in this season, that the energies that are insistent upon acting in that regard are going to be more so their own enemies. It's like a handicap that's been inflicted on, diabolical intentions, or those that wish to carry them out. And unfortunately, it works where it can only really be carried out on others that unfortunately may be in alignment for that same type of energy. So if someone wanted to take this, that's why I said somebody gonna murder somebody. So if someone wanted to take this back to the unreasonable energies that they are really mad about, or mad that they're entrapped with, they may have more leverage and leeway there. Not to say I would encourage it, because it's still karmic and it still, has its consequences. But there may be more of a landing where they are really experiencing some type of turmoil or something than it would be on someone innocent at this time. It's not justifiable. And universal law is not really going to sit back and allow that to just happen anymore without intercepting and interceding. So that's why that energy, that Eight of Wands energy, will have nowhere else to turn but back to sender, ultimately, because there's no justification. This is somebody that would probably be in defense mode from all that they've been sending out, which is why people also need to watch their thoughts, because this is a clear indication here that just thinking the wrong thing could put you in harm's way at this point, or saying the wrong thing, speaking over somebody's life, speaking of negativity towards someone, projecting negative thoughts towards someone, could still land in some type of backfire or blow up situation, let alone actually putting a plan into action. That's just how it is right now. Which is why I've said in the past that integrity is pretty much like your greatest shield. It's not to say anybody is completely spotless or blameless in all of their life, but in this season, if you can at least more or less keep yourself on the up and up, when it's your time, it's your time. It is what it is. But for things to be hurled your way and make impact that are completely unjustified and not divinely ordained, really and truly, it's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. When you are, when you are on guard in the way that in which I'm speaking, which is just to be operating in integrity, being honest, being truthful, being vigilant about protecting yourself, where you're going, paying attention to your intuition, to what your inner self is nudging you to do. Sometimes you're being told not to go places at certain times, or with certain people, or to invite certain people to your home, or to go on a date, or to take a job, or to, you know, like to seal it, to settle a deal. Like, you're getting signs and signals and messages all the time. And the integrity piece is when you tune into that and react and respond accordingly. Like, you heed the warning, you heed the messages. And sometimes when we fall into entrapments where, you know, something happens that we rather it didn't, a lot of times you can trace it back to what your higher mind actually told you before it occurred. Like, something told me not to go out tonight. Something told me to say no to this dude I just met on, you know what I mean? Like, to not to give my number to someone, you know, stuff like that. Like, a lot of times we got the message, but we rationalize a different response, or justify some alternative approach. So, you know, this is somebody, like I said, that ain't trying to hear none of that in the higher mind. They are in their lower nature, and they could be getting all the signs and blaring signals in the world, and they would still either reject it or turn it around for in their favor. Like, take it to mean something else. Like, take a red light to mean a green light in their distorted mind. You know, a lot of emphasis on driving and car stuff. So y'all just be mindful and careful out there in general. Yeah, another page. You know, like I said, getting progressively worse, because as I said before, it's somebody that at least was kind of sort of like thinking about it. Should I not? How to, how not? You know what I mean? This is the Page of Cups is even more sensitive, more delicate, more impressionable, I think, because of the element, than the Swords is. At least the Swords might think about it. The Page of Cups is acting on emotion, you know, or the impulse of what they're feeling from in a less evolved space, giving us the Page, not even the Knight of Cups. You know, again, it's another kid who maybe their feelings been hurt, you know, or they're only acting out of their distorted feelings or hurt feelings, and they're not even in the space to bridge that correlation right now. They just only know how they feel and how they don't want to feel. Queen of Swords. Yeah, and to me, it's like showing how someone's moving in the opposite direction from sound logic. This is the only mature energy, esteemed energy on the board. Could even, like I said, be dodging sound advice. Like, nah, I don't want to hear that. Or they take it in, actually act like they taking it in or listening to it, but they feel how they feel, and they're going to do what they want to do. They know it. Even as they're listening, even as they're absorbing it, taking it in, maybe even nodding like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yep, that's true. And deep down, they ain't going to do a damn thing with that advice. It's literally going in one ear and out the other. Whoa. What is this? this about? Good. Because they taking orders from a darker force now. This is somebody that really is on the verge of being completely possessed by their what? What is that? Possessed by their I don't even know. Because I feel like their cynicism, is that the right word? Completely consumed by their cynicism. That's what it is. Possessed in a word, but consumed, like fully saturated, drinking their own Kool-Aid, and you see it's a fish in that cup. It ain't nothing nice in the cup that they are continuing to gorge on. So yeah, so in this case, it's like they reject the sound advice, but they are absorbing advice from their, it's like they're only exclusively accepting advice from their shadow. This could even be somebody that's drinking or taking some type of substance, altering their mind state. Could be why I keep talking about the mind being in a strange way. That could be a representation here with the devil, like somebody is inducing their psychosis with substances. So that's probably why they're not able to really rationalize the best case scenario. They're obsessed with their ambitions in a very tunnel vision type of way, a terrible tunnel vision type of way. And they're possessed by their shadow, overtaken by it, consumed by it, and that's the driving force behind their intentions and ambitions. And that is the self-destructive aspect of it, because we know devil energy don't give a damn about nobody's well-being. It's just about satisfying some thirst. A bloodthirst? Really? This is getting dark. This is beyond dark now. I literally just heard a bloodthirst. And it's something that somebody's been suppressing for so long. They've been hiding this. And they on the verge of just being completely kicked out of the closet, either on in part to their fits of rage and ambitions, blind ambitions, or just like their implosion from the inside out, the deterioration of their contained self, because of the fact that they can't get the plan off the ground. They can't find relief from what is ailing them at this time in the natural sense. And they also can't satisfy this diabolical itch. They can't scratch it because of all the other things. They can't, I mean, diabolical itch don't care about bringing peace to chaos, but at least if they could get this chaotic plan to go through, then there would be some satisfaction there, but they can't even satisfy that. So it's like somebody's really about to fully implode from the inside out if they don't chill out. They're literally just going to like self-destruct and combust, you know, perhaps end up in some type of, like, the implosion could come to the point of like somebody having to be hospitalized or institutionalized, either on account of what they tried to do in their rage, or as again just completely just melting down from what they feel they can't do, to the point where they've completely lost touch with reality and they have to be under some type of watch or care. That's the only wow. That's the only road this is leading down at this point. It's the highway to hell. And somebody is moving, is driving recklessly, all gas, no brakes, in the rain, on a winding road, down a mountainside, you know, like all the most in traffic, you know, it's like all the most dangerous aspects of life for someone in transition that should be in transformation, but they're transporting themselves to like a very hellish existence. That is crazy. Wow. And this is the beginning. Another page, like this is the beginning that they are creating for themselves. Or that they have created. They've already created the aspects that they're currently experiencing, even down to, you know, the rage and the strongholds, the addictions, the obsessions, whatever it is. But it's like somebody is literally about to start a path, like a hell on earth type of life, if they don't chill out, regroup. And they might want to blame everybody else, including their mama, for where they are. Maybe even their daddy. But it's somebody that at the end of the day is going to have to come back to one and take accountability for their own choices and their own actions. That's the only way out, is in. For real. And it's like almost learning life all over again for some folks. Like learning how to walk all over. Lord Jesus, somebody better chill out. Somebody better chill out. It's like learning how to walk again. If you're so blessed. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.